welcome back. This is Natasha. So today's video is going to be showing my monthly Hero Arts kit for April 2019. So I started here with some Yupo paper and I did some alcohol blending on this panel here. I used 3 of the alcohol shimmer inks. Super fun to use these and very shimmery. So I have the 3 colors here. I know I used Deception, I think it's Intrigue, and Alchemy. Okay, so I used those 3 colors, blended it, played around with it a bit, let my panel dry, added a little bit of gold foiling to the top, and cut this panel down with some wonky border stitch dies. And then I took all of the dies that came in the kit this month and I cut them out of black cardstock. So basically my idea for this first card that I did was I wanted it to be a silhouette kind of scene with a sunset background. So that was kind of what I went for with this card here. So I'm just doing the placement of my pieces, and then I'm gonna be adding my sentiment, which is happy retirement. I added that with some VersaFine, and then I used a clear embossing powder to heat set that. Okay, and so I'm gonna stick everything down with some of the Lawn Fawn liquid adhesive. Just adding adhesive behind the pieces there. And then I do take some of the foam tape that came in the kit this month, and I'm going to be adding that to a couple of the pieces to give it a little bit of dimension. Okay, and that's basically it for this first card. I don't think I added anything more. I might have added a couple of sequins, but I think that's basically it for this card. Called it a day on this one. Okay, so let's move on to the second card that I created with this kit. So I took the buildings die cuts and I die cut that out of some shimmer textured brown cardstock, or like a tan colored cardstock. And then I cut out the little bridge, and I'm going to be taking my Distress ink and Vintage Photo and just be edging around the outside edges of these 2 buildings here. And you can see how much it makes it pop right there. It's very, if you want your anything to stand out, die cuts, sentiments, always see if you can add a little bit of ink, a little bit of distressing, because it just gives it so much more. So I took the leftover from that ink alcohol ink panel, and I'm going to be adding some liquid adhesive to the back of these buildings, and then just adhering the leftover sheets from my alcohol blending. Nothing fancy, just putting it behind and then trimming off any of the excess that I have hanging out anywhere. But it's such a nice touch. Like, it gives it such it gives it so much color, just that little bit. And using up your scrap is always a good thing. You never want to be wasteful. Okay, so liquid adhesive, you can move it around a little bit if you don't get it the way you want it the first time, and then just trim off everything else that you don't want sticking out. Okay, so I used a light blue cardstock to cut out my water, and then I used some glitter paper for the background of the water there. Okay, so I found this cardstock, this panel, and it came from a previous card kit. It was the one that had all the hot air balloons, and so I took one of those panels, cut it down with my stitched border die cut, and idea on this one is to make it look like those balloons are in the background along with the the tops of the houses, and you're kind of looking at it like from the top of the hill going down, basically. So I took a little bit more of my Distress ink, the Vintage Photo, and I went around the corner the edges of this panel, and then here I'm just going to start adhering everything down. So I adhered the water and the bridge, and then I'm going to take the foam adhesive and add that to the buildings, and that is basically that card. Oh, I did stamp out with some VersaFine the chow. I'm going to put a little heart right at the top there for the word chow. And I did add a little bit of Winka Stella to the hot air balloon just to give it a little shimmer. And added this to a card base. And we're going to call it a day on this one as well. So really quick and simple, easy cards. I mean, it wasn't anything, the process wasn't too hard or you had to think about it too much. It was pretty simple and straightforward, but yeah, simple. There you go. Second card done. Now let's move on to the final card or final project. So here I have a white panel, and you kind of saw it hanging around the first two cards. So I'm going to use this die cut here that only die cuts the top portion. It doesn't die cut below. So this panel has a little, you know, I ripped up the paper a little bit. So I'm just going to place the die cut, kind of strategically placing it where I'm hiding that torn piece on the panel. And I'm going to run that through my die cut machine and cut that panel out. And then I also went into my stash of cardstock and I pulled out this watercolor panel. It's just, I want to say it's from that Mod Squad. It was in a card kit that came in a couple of months ago as well. Okay, and so just lining up the stitching on the edges of both panels and just making sure that they both line up. I'm gonna just stamp out my sentiment, and then using some of the foam adhesive, I'm gonna pop this white panel up on top of the watercolor panel, add a little bit of clear sequence, and call this card done as well. So really quick, simple, easy cards. Here are some still shots of the 3 cards that I made today. Yeah, it was really fun actually to work with this kit. I had more fun than I expected. I thought it was gonna limit what I was gonna be able to do because it's so, the theme is so specific, but it was actually fun. I had a lot of fun coming up with a couple of cool ideas. Yeah, so I hope you try them, and if you do, please hit me up on Instagram in Wang Yuan Designs and share your pictures with me. Also, hit that like button if you like any of the ideas that I've come up with. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned. I will be coming back at you with another video. Thank you for the support, and I shall catch you on the next video. Mahalo and hui ho.